today I'm going to be talking about finding your best colors, okay? So I have a lot of examples that I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to share my screen so that you can really see how it all comes together. Before I get into that, I just want to make a few points really clear, okay? So this is not a science, all right? Color analysis is not a science, all right? Basically, the way that it works, it is about finding which colors look your best. And the way that you do this is you go through a process of trial and error, meaning you try something and then you compare it, right? So you're looking to see which color looks better, okay? So that said, you can wear any color that you want, okay? However, some colors are going to look better on your skin, on your eyes, and with your hair, okay? So this is not a science. This is about choosing the better colors for you, all right? So that's what I'm gonna explain how to do, because there is a 3-step process that you go through to choose your best colors, okay? So that's what I just want to make really clear, is that if you were to ever go for a professional color analysis, the way that they do that is this is an in-person color analysis, is that they drape you, meaning they put different color fabrics over your body, like a shirt, right? They cover everything and they do that and then they compare, right? So I'm going to give you a bit of a taste of that for a virtual process. And this is something that I do with my clients. One of the first things that I do when I work with my styling clients is we figure out what is their best colors, right? What is the color palette that is going to make them look healthy and make them look vibrant, right? Because as I said, you can wear whatever color you want, but some colors are gonna make you look healthier and make you look vibrant and just very harmonious, because that's what this is about. It's about finding the colors that really bring out your own natural colors, all right? So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna take you through the 3-step process so that you see how it looks, and then you can try it on your own, okay? And as always, if you just want my help in doing this, then I'm gonna share a link with you on how you can book a call with me so that we can talk about how we can work together and I can help you figure out what looks best on you, all right? So I'm gonna go and share the screen right now. Okay, step 1, the first thing that you do is you need to get clear on what your undertone is, okay? So you're gonna be either warm or cool, all right? There are some people who are neutral, not very many. For purposes of what we're doing today, you're gonna decide if you're cool or if you're warm. And again, it is about comparing and looking to see which one looks better, all right? So that's why I'm gonna share some examples to talk to you about what looks better, all right? So for example number 1, all right? Talking about figuring out if you are warm or cool, all right? So this has to do with your undertones, and gold and silver is a really great way to figure this out. So if you tend to wear silver, there is a chance that you are cool tone. And if you tend to like gold, then there's a chance you could be warm toned, okay? I find that a lot of us know what we are intuitively just because we've been living our lives with our coloring. Your coloring can change, however, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But a lot of us have an idea of what we are, okay? Cold, warm, or cool. So if you look at the picture of me, this is not the best picture of me, but it's the one that I found. You can see that when you look at me with the gold, it makes my eyes look brighter, and the color complements my skin tone in a much more flattering way. When you look at me on the silver, it tends to make me look a little bit more tired and a little bit more drab, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna compare, do you look better in gold or do you look better in silver, all right? And you wanna, so I'm a visual person. If you're a visual person, then this is gonna be easier for you. And it's really a feeling I get when I look at someone. I've been styling people for over 20 years, and I get a feeling when something looks right, it feels harmonious in my body. And that's how I can tell. Okay. So if you're a visual person, you may feel this as well. If you're not a visual person, then you want to just keep practicing so that you can get better at determining if it looks right or not. Okay. So I am a warm toned person. All right. So I want to share another example with you, and I'm going to show you someone who has completely different coloring than I do. Okay, so this is somebody who has blonde hair, blue eyes. Okay, so when you look at the two pictures here, and feel free to take a guess if you're watching this, do you think she looks better in the gold, or do you think she looks better in the silver? All right, she looks better in silver. Okay, if you see the way the silver really complements, you want to look at her eyes, you want to look at the way it complements her hair, right? When she, with the gold, it looks like it's hitting it in an incongruent way. It looks different. It doesn't look natural. It doesn't look harmonious, right? It feels a lot more harmonious when you look at her with the silver. Okay, so this woman with this coloring is also, or not, I'm a cool tone, so she is a warm tone. Okay, so let's take another look. I have another example. I have one more person, and I tried to pick examples of people who had very different type of coloring. Okay, now this is a woman here, and she has, so we've got the gold and then the silver. All right, so when you look at her, is it obvious to you which one looks better? Can you tell right away? When you look at the gold, the way that the gold is making her skin look more yellow, a little bit more sallow. When you look at this, when you look at the gold, she looks more yellow, and because the gold is yellow, but the way it's hitting her skin is not as complementary as the way it looks with the silver. Do you see when you look at her face, she looks brighter on the silver. So this woman is also a cool toned person. Okay, so you can do this for yourself. You can decide if you are warm or cool. That's the first thing that you're gonna wanna do when you're figuring out which colors suit you best. Okay, now just because you're cool, you can, like I said, if you want to still wear gold, you can. All right, it's just that silver is going to be more harmonious and more complementary for you. All right, so step one is find your undertone. All right, let us move on to step two. Step two is where you need to look at your value. Okay, so that is determining if you are light, medium, or deep. They say in the color analysis world, they call it deep, when really they're talking about darkness. Okay, so looking at the value over here, and this is when you just want to take in all of your features. All right, so light, medium, or deep. All right, so I'm definitely not light. Okay, so no cross. Sometimes it's helpful to do it by process of elimination. Okay, so let's cross out light. That's clearly a no. Am I a medium or am I a deep? All right, so you want to look a little bit closer, and my skin is actually pretty pale. All right, in order for me to be deep, my skin would need to be either darker, or my hair would need to be darker, right? So I am medium. All right, so that is my value. My value is medium. All right, so that is the next thing that you want to determine. You want to determine, what is your value? Are you light? Are you medium? Or are you deep? Okay, so if we're going to go back to this woman here, then I think we all can see very clearly she's light, right? She's got light eyes, she's got light hair, and she's got light skin. Okay, so far we've got for her, this is a woman who is a light, cool light. Okay, so for me, I was a warm medium. All right, these are the things that you're going to need so that you can get your diagnosis. All right, so let us move on to our third candidate over here. I was very thoughtful when I choose my candidates. I really thought about who I wanted to bring in to do this, and I really was careful about bringing in different skin tones. So in case anyone's wondering, this is my mother over here. So it's also helpful because I I know very well what her coloring is. So this one is also very interesting because I know that she used to have really dark hair, okay? Almost black, really, really dark brown hair. So determining if she is light, medium, or deep, that's a little tricky, right? Because now her hair is gray. So her coloring has changed. And this is something that can happen to, or it can happen to everybody, okay? As we age, our skin changes, our hair can change. So this is changing your coloring, all right? So she is still deep though, okay? So she's still deep, but because her hair is lighter, she's softening now. All right. So another thing, and I know that this was asked in the group when I posted a question. Janice had asked this about she's going gray, and Janice was telling me that she's actually warm toned. And does this mean that now she's cool toned? And the answer is no. It doesn't mean that you're cool toned. It means that yes, you now have a cooler element in your coloring. Okay. So maybe all those warm tones that you used to wear before your hair went gray, or Janice, you know, when I looked at your picture, it looks like your hair is in the process of going gray. So you're going to still wear those warm tones, but maybe some of those real warm tones aren't going to look as good anymore with your hair. Now, depending on how light your hair actually gets, you may change to cool toned, okay, but it's a process, okay? So looking at this woman here, my mother, she is still cool toned, okay, but things have lightened up a little bit for her, but she's still deep. She's still got the deep eyes. She's still got the dark skin. Her skin is olive, and she's still got the dark eyebrows. So she is still deep, okay? So she is deep and cool, all right? So that's the second step of what you're gonna do. So for step number one, find your undertone. It's either warm or cool. Step number two is find your, it's called value, light, medium, deep, okay? And then now, moving on to step number three, this is actually where the seasons got more complicated. If you are familiar with Color Me Beautiful back in the 80s, the 4 seasons, okay, I knew it, and I very easily went right into autumn. So with those 4 seasons, it was very simple and clear for me that I was autumn, okay? So now this third element, it's called chroma, and this has to do with the clarity, right? So it's talking about your color, how clear or bright it is versus it being softer or more muted, right? So a color is clear and bright when it's in its purest form, and it becomes softer and muted when you start diluting it by putting in more gray or more black, right? You take the opposite color and you start to dilute that color, and that makes it softer. So that's what we're talking about now, how bright and clear you are versus how soft and muted you are. Okay, so I'm going to give you the examples, and we're going to talk about this right now. So let me go find, where is that example? Am I sharing the screen? I'm going to stop it right here. Share screen. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to talk about chroma, okay? So this is where we're going to talk about our brightness and gosh, does everything, it looks like my whole desktop is showing. My desktop is a mess right now. I have like 45 different windows open with all my different examples. Okay, so talking about the clarity, right? So is your coloring, is it pure or is it more muted, right? A little bit more muddied, okay? So the way you can tell this is if your skin is very clear, or if you, the bright eyes is a really easy way to tell. If you've got really bright eyes, then you're going to be on the clear and bright side, okay? So looking at me, I am going with the clear for me. And now remember, if you're not sure, the best way to figure it out is to do a comparison, okay? That is how you can always tell. It's about choosing which ones look better, all right? So if you look at the muted tones versus the brighter tones with me, when I look, first of all, the palette is very similar, Okay, so the palettes are often very similar. It's just about how diluted the color gets or how muted the color gets. Okay, so when I am comparing, and I encourage you to do this, if you don't have like really bright eyes or it's not really obvious to you if you're clear or muted, then do a comparison. Look at the muted tones versus the bright tones. When I put these paler tones over here on me, they're not gonna harmonize with me as well, okay? It may make me look a little bit more washed out, okay? So these paler tones over here are not gonna be as complementary to my skin as when I go to these richer colors over here. And that is why I am going with the brighter palette, okay? So if it's confusing for you, then go ahead and do a compare, because then you're gonna choose which one looks better. All right, so let's look at my other examples that I have for you here. Let me get rid of some of these windows. All right, so talking about chroma, and now we are going to look over here at her, and she's got really bright eyes. All right, so she's got bright, crystal clear blue eyes. So that's going to tell me right away that she's a clear. Her chroma is clear. All right, so going back to what my palette was, I didn't say this before, but my palette was warm, bright, and medium. Okay, so looking at her palette is going to be light, clear, and cool. All right, so this is how you get to your seasonal color analysis. It's by figuring out these three components. Okay, so let us look at our last example over here for her. And okay, here she is. So for her, so this is also, it gets interesting because she has softened in her coloring. Her coloring has softened now because of her hair going gray and going lighter. So before she turned gray, she was a bold, bright, right? It was definitely bright and vibrant. And now still bright, but a little bit less bright. So the palette is a little bit more muted. Okay, so these are the colors that are going to work best with her now. Okay, so nothing super pale because that's going to wash her out, but these tones are a little bit more muted compared to the components, to the ones that are brighter. Now again, the palettes between brighter and muted are often similar, but they're just really subtle differences. So if you don't know which one looks better, it's always a great idea to do some comparisons, okay? So that is some of the examples that I wanted to share with you today. Now, I also just want to make my point about how you can pretty much wear any single color if you stick to your warm and cool. There is usually a warm and a cool on all different colors. So for example, if I've got a bunch of masks. I have a lot of face masks. It's kind of like become the new socks. I just kind of pick them up whenever I see them, that I like them. So for example, here's a pink one, okay? I'm trying to get so you can see the light the best. This is a very cool pink, all right? This is like a bubblegum pink. This is not going to be a good color for me, all right? This is another version here of another kind of a pink, and this one is a little bit more, still getting a little bit more lilac, also a cool tone. Again, gonna make me look a little bit more washed out, okay? Now we're moving into a warmer toned pink, getting a little bit, this is a dusty color, so this is a muted color, right? I had said that I was better in brighters, but that doesn't mean I can't wear muted colors. If I like it, I like it, all right? But this is a muted pink, so this is getting a little bit better because this pink has a warm undertone to it. But then this is the one that I like to wear. This is the mask that I like to wear because these are my colors. The rust, the pumpkin, these are the colors that highlight me and make me look my best. So that's the way that it works. It's really just about choosing between two colors, which one makes you look better, okay? And if there's colors that aren't your best colors, again, if you want to wear them, by all means, go ahead, wear them if you love to wear them. There's probably going to be another color that's similar to it that could bring out your features and could make you look more vibrant, okay? So this is just one part of your personal style, right? Nailing down your color palette, it is one small piece of your personal style, and it definitely is helpful when it comes to shopping and making choices when you want to look your best. Now, this is something that I do with my clients. It's one of the first steps that we do is we nail down her color palette and we combine that with her body shape, right? So these are her style statistics, right? So these are just the facts about her body, her coloring, and her body shape based on her measurements, right? So we take these two facts and then we combine that with what she loves. And then that is how we create a signature style. It is a signature style. It is something that she loves, but it also is something that is going to make her look her best. So if you're curious about what this would look like for you, then I can help you. And I'd like to invite you to join me on a complimentary call so we can talk about your personal style, what's going on, and how to get you into your most flattering clothes. All right. So I'm just going to pop the link right over here for you to book your call. All right. And that is it. That's what I wanted to share with you today about your colors. Okay. So I hope this helped. And I hope this gives you a little bit more insight onto the whole color thing, because I know it can be a little overwhelming if it's something that you're not familiar with, but just know that the easiest way to get there is just to keep comparing and then work your way, right? And if you go through these 3 steps of your undertone, of your value, and of your chroma, it's going to help put you into a season, and then you can go from there and make your choices about what looks best on you from there once you have that information. All right. So that is what I wanted to share with you today, how to figure out your best colors. And again, if you need help, I would love to help you figure out your best colors. You do not have to do this alone. So definitely book that call and let's get on a Zoom and let's look at your personal style. And otherwise, I look forward to continuing to see you in the group. And I will be back here next week for another live style tutorial. All right. So I will see you soon. All right. Take care. Bye.